Let's see how we are going to solve this equation. We have 2 to the x is equal to parentheses with negative 64 inside raised to the square root of x power. And this is unusual because we have a negative base here. But I will tell you though, for this one in particular, we still have good answer. It's just real numbers, by the way. So if you haven't done so already, please pause the video and try this first before you watch the solution. Done? Here we go. What I'm going to do is I will actually look at this right here as negative 1 times 64 and then raised to square root of x power. And then because the inside is just multiplying, so I can put this to square root of x power and then times 64 to square root of x power. And then this is quite nice because 64 happens to be 2 to some power. What power? The 6th power. So let's write that and then raised to the square root of x power. And then we can just multiply the exponents here and we get 2 to the 6th square root of x power. So that's just a clean up for now, but how can we continue though? Here's the key. Negative 1 to the square root of x power. Right here, we're just going for real solutions. So when we have negative 1 to some power, we really want to just have this part being equal to 1. And the reason is because when we have 2 to the x, the output is always positive. Likewise, 2 to this power is always going to be positive. If this gives us negative, then we get positive is equal to a negative number, which is not possible. So what we want to do is, let's just go ahead and solve for x from here being equal to that. And then later we'll check the answer. This part is nice because both sides have base 2. So that means the exponents have to be equal. So we get x equals 6 square root of x. Squaring both sides, we get x squared equals 6 squared is 36. Square root of x squared is just x. Right here, be sure do not divide both sides by x because otherwise you'll be missing 0 as the one of these solutions. So bring this to the other side instead. And notice we have the x, so we can factor the out. From here, we see that x is equal to 0. From here, we see that x minus 36 has to be 0, so that means x has to be 36. Once we work this out, we have 2 possible answers that we can check. Remember, we want it to be 1 for this part. So if we plug in 0 into the square root here, we get negative 1 raised to the square root of 0's power. That's just negative 1 to the 0's power, and we do end up with 1. Checks. And if we plug in 36 into here, negative 1 to the square root of 36 power is just negative 1 to the 6th power, and we also end up with 1. So that also checks. So in fact, both of these are solutions to that equation. Now, imagine if we have to solve 2 to the x is equal to negative 8 raised to the square root of x power. Well, I'll leave this one for you guys. Go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know what the answer is.